This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I always try to jump on justice. All right, October 30th, 9 a.m. payday meeting. Administrative business.
First thing that I have is just to do payday, if that's okay. We do have the sales tax report, and the sales tax, $60,119.78.
Looks like a right line.
Mirrored last year, did it?
Yeah. It's only shy by about $70.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get these turned for you.
That's all right. Control Shift negative.
Thank you.
It goes pretty quick. All right. So we have a separate warrant list for Western Associates for $1,367.30.
I'll make a motion to pay Western Associates.
Second. A motion by Kent, second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. We have warrants for Elcon Services in the amount of $4,211.81.
I'd make a motion to pay Elcon Services $4,211.81.
Motion by Randy, second by Kenneth. All those, any other discussion?
This would be interesting, because if I said no this time, that would be an interesting thing. Because it wouldn't pass.
Maybe.
Just to put that out there.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining? Aye.
And I'm doing all this today because we got the packet so late last night, I didn't even look at the packet. I mean, there's just no sense in staying up till midnight to do so. So I'm gonna go along today to get along.
Different, ain't it?
Only time.
One time,
Or
that's
we-
it.
or we could get the
Loving
packets-
it.
It happens more than you think.
Or we could get the packets late all the time and it'll happen regularly.
Well, she does go along. It's not always a battle in here. It's people highlight the battles.
I just stand by my beliefs and I don't change.
Okay.
But see, now it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, it still does. You still have to fulfill your obligation to Jen.
And that's why I'm sitting right here.
Okay, so we have a grand total payday with those included. For $1,718,000.
13. 1,713,592.43.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the grand total payday at $1,713,592.43.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I gotta keep mine fixed. Tina didn't fix it good enough. It still's not pulling up.
Okay. Can you, did you bring it today?
Yes.
Can you just leave it and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
Lloyd take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like winter.
Okay. So no questions on the payables?
Couple of them.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, just the first one, just for information, you're on page 16. You know, we've been approving those vehicles for the sheriff, those Dodge vehicles that are sold out of McPherson. Just noticed there was a large repair bill, and that had to be done in McPherson. Couldn't do it in Hillsborough. No warranty, any type of. And I don't think that was warranty work, because that was an 08.
Yeah.
Not for that old vehicle.
That's Lake Patrol. No.
But an 08, you would expect some type of repair on an 08.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just for information, you know,
Mhm.
we've done a lot of business with Midway Motors, but when we buy Dodge, we're doing business with Midway Motors Super Center, which is McPherson.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see, we had another one there, page 23.
Well, if I had a dealership in my area, I'd just bring them all down my way.
Put a Dodge dealership down there, would you?
No, I'd be a little choosier than, even though I drive a Dodge too, so.
Where was it? Oh, that's more of a question for Bryce. You know, we pay for a cell phone service for our road and bridge employees. You know, years ago, they all just had radios in there. And I don't know, you know, based on the cost, whether we're getting a good deal, a bad deal, or whatever.
I didn't realize that we're paying for
Yeah.
cell phones.
Yeah.
That brings up a good point then. If we are paying for the cell phones, maybe, I know that payroll is Tina's knowledge, but there is something that we use, it's called T-sheets. And it allows, basically while you're on the block, it tracks it, so that you don't have to buy the tracking equipment. But I know that Bryce has looked into some other equipment as far as tracking, just to
Make sure they're being used as intended.
well, no, it's more of a location tracking while you're on the block.
Like GPS.
Yeah. But
I was just talking about, you know, we pay for cell phones for road and bridge employees. And, you know, years ago, all the equipment and vehicles had a radio. I don't know if, you know, if that kind of thing is cost prohibitive anymore, or just, you know, comparing cell phone service to a radio.
The radios, most guys don't use them, but they use more cell phones than anything else. If we had actually talked about, you know, like you talked about the tracking system, GPS, there's actually two ways to go. You can use a smartphone and do it that way, or we can do it with this mounted stuff in the equipment. The problem with the smartphones is we now have to get 30-some smartphones for the employees, and it's obviously a nice expense too to do that. Or we could get this stuff mounted in the equipment. One thing that is nice about it is that I can pull up any day, any piece of equipment, find out exactly where they are, where they've been.
That's like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could go back how far, and I can actually, okay, this is exactly where they went.
Okay.
the bonus of what he has over, see, and that's the part I forgot, is he's talking about clamshell phones, and I was talking more cell phone, or
Yeah.
smartphones. But the bonus to his plan is, if anything gets stolen, it's on the equipment.
Yes.
So it's not on the cell phone, so that way you can actually track where it is.
The other thing we
Mr.
looked
Kraft
at
can be
too,
there in a minute.
not only with smartphones, you could do the same thing with iPads or whatever the Android applications too. But the more, I say, sophisticated we get with that outside equipment, the more we have to worry about damaging and stuff like that. So it's an increased cost.
I knew there was a good answer. Brought up.
Yeah. So,
So the cell phones are basically to track the equipment where they're at? Is that
Well,
what you're
Part
saying?
of communication too.
it's through Verizon, and they basically have a constant pinging on the GPS of their phones.
Okay, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
got that, so, but also the employees use them for communication?
Yes, yeah, if we got smartphones, but like I said, for what we pay on service right now, then to turn around and pay the extra for the smartphones,
And then the plan too.
yeah.
And even the track phones, have you checked into track phones? You know, that's a one-time expense, like $40 for the
No.
phone. And then for $19, you can get 6 months of phone service.
Yeah.
Same
They,
thing.
the,
I mean, it's really inexpensive.
yeah, I don't know about the track phones. We actually get a very good deal with, as far as the Verizon phones, because we have so many of them, but, you know.
Yeah, well, Verizon, I think at my level is 35 per month,
Right.
but that's smartphones.
Right.
If you if you're talking about your level, I mean, I'm sure it's probably around that $20 mark or
Yeah,
less,
yeah.
especially without a smartphone plan.
Yeah, but like I said, when you start adding that extra expense for basically a constant pinging to their phone, that adds up too, so. But, still looking at it, so.
I think the fleet trackers is well worth it. It's just, I mean, especially if they're on vehicles that people choose to steal, not usually like road graders, I guess.
Well, you never know. Yeah, you never know.
But,
so.
you know, as far as expensive
Sure.
machinery, you want it on there.
Yeah. But I like the idea. The fact is, that I could pull up any day, any piece of equipment, get a printout of exactly where they went, and you know, so it'd be nice for people to say, well, when was the last time they were on the road? Well, Luke could go back and do a query.
Just, just a little inside information on that, though. You want your pinging to be set up more quickly with your guys than you would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Every 15 minutes will show them driving cross country.
Yeah.
Through people's fields and stuff.
Well, funny
It doesn't
story.
ping it here to there, there.
It's straight,
Yeah.
ping to ping.
About 15, when we first started getting those cat prototypes, I know they had GPS on that one, and Gene Lanning told me the cat man came out and they were looking at it, and they pulled it up and showed Gene being in the middle of the reservoir.
Yeah.
So.
Must have been fishing.
Yeah, you know, but they were sitting like 2 miles away from the reservoir, and that's where it showed him, so, but anyway, so. But I'm sure technology has changed.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
The last one I had was, page 26, did we have to have a truck towed in Auto House,
Oh.
the transfer station?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that picture of that trailer that I showed you. That where we had to have them come out and lift it up, set it over.
The truck wasn't towed.
Trailer.
The trailer was,
Just a trailer.
trailer had to be jacked out of
Yeah.
the ditch. Out of the utility ditch, not an actual
What's
ditch.
the total bill on that?
$1,130.
How'd the trailer get in the ditch?
Well, that's the
Yeah.
dolly down,
In the
where
wrong
they
place.
dropped the dolly, went down and it was loaded, and went like the pictures I showed you.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
picture now.
But the guy, I asked him when I called him that day, I said, well, what's the cost gonna be? Oh, $700-800, so
Yeah.
it ended up being a little higher than $700-800.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
When you come out for that.
If it would've jacked straight up, and there wouldn't have been a whole lot of any finagling, then yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But as far as the value of the trailer goes, and what we could lose by not taking care of it right away, I thought it was a value well spent just to get it handled.
Maybe you ought to see that bill, take that bill and post it somewhere where everybody can see it. I mean,
As a reminder.
yeah.
Yeah, these are what the mistakes cost.
Yeah, this is what mistakes cost us.
They do.
Enlarge it, make sure everybody can see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
That's what I used to do when I had my business, when people wrote a bad check, enlarged it, put it right on the window.
Yeah, they used to do that all the time.
Yep.
Might not be, I don't know if
Anyway.
we do that anymore. You get in trouble for that?
You can.
Probably.
Still a good idea.
Leave it to
Used to
Brad,
work
leave
though.
it to Brad to just ruin our fun, you know?
Back in the old days.
I'm the one that asked you.
Okay, good.
Remember when banks had to post all the delinquent taxes too on the bulletin boards? Well, it's just banks, I mean, everybody.
Ready to sign off
That's it.
on
Do you have
boards?
anything?
I don't know.
So the motion, and we had a second. This was the discussion. Do we have any, all in favor?
Oh, what, I'm sorry.
We already did.
You already voted.
We voted to approve
You
the
voted
grand
before.
total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you just went over the
I
questions.
thought there
after.
was discussion. So,
No, that's all right. I had a 4-0 vote already.
okay, very good. Sorry.
I thought I was something.
I just need to make sure.
I do have one more of the duplication of benefits paperwork for an approved business on a community development block grant. That's for pizzerias. They've already received funding. We just need to, you just need to sign to show that we've received their agreement.
This is what we had, 6 of them Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just another one, going to sign it.
Okay, we have, in your packet, I did scan this in. We have 3 sets of it, but this is for the emergency project at, well, I wrote it down.
290.
Yeah. Yes. And so this one needs approval and then signatures on 3 sets. And that's why Bryce is here, because I thought if you had questions, he could answer.
This is the actual contract for the design work and stuff to that effect for this project that we've been waiting. I think you approved like 4 or 5 months ago. We've been waiting for the legal department to finally get it back to us. So it's in triplicate and has to be signed in triplicate. The front part has to be scanned and emailed in. The original has to be sent in, and so we're working on getting rid of paper. We're not doing a very good job of it, but this is the actual stuff from KDOT for that.
Do we know what the cost is for this extra engineering? Had we been told what?
The extra engineering, this is basically setting the, maximum amount, I think like $54,000 or something like that for the design and stuff like that, and then.
54,000 is 562.50.
Right, and that was the maximum amount, and then, the construction, everything else would follow. So, in fact, it's ironic, we've really been pushing for this because, they've actually started designing stuff on it. They were given approval by KDOT and us to get started. So we actually have done some surveying and design, and they're ready for field check, and now we're just getting the contract actually signed for them. But based on the preliminary design, stuff like that, we're gonna take out 2 60-inch pipes and go back with a triple 8-foot wide, 5-foot tall box. So considerably, probably 3 times the size of what's out there now. And that's to account for about 100 year flood. So it'll make a huge difference.
So they would need a motion to approve the agreement and then the authorization for the chairman to sign.
Signature.
I think it's got multiple.
Commission signatures.
Yeah. And I don't know whether that is a standard form come out by them that has 3 signature lines, whether, I don't know why 1 wouldn't be enough, but anyway, I've asked them several times if they're gonna do that, can they at least send me one with 5, and it's fell on deaf ears, so.
So then they wouldn't have to authorize the chairman, everybody could just sign it, but we need a motion to approve.
Make that motion for the chairman.
Make a motion. Oh, yeah.
Sign for the commission.
And to approve the agreement.
And to approve the agreement, yes.
Awesome.
Second by Cam. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
While you're here, Bryce, top agreements, where are we at? We was told that the Nighthawk project had to be a lot of paperwork done. Are we done with the paperwork yet, or are we?
Which Nighthawk project?
With the
Rebuild.
Rebuild. We checked on permits. As it turned out, we weren't gonna mess with anything that's weren't gonna require permits. So it's just a matter of doing a couple final things back to KDOT and go to letting. My big push lately has been getting the emergency stream bank repair stuff going. We are working on permits, and actually I was gonna ask if I go to send out for bids next week, when would you want them back? Typically something like that, the commission looks at them, and then I have to have a little bit of time to look at them, or basically give my recommendation to that. So You know, knowing the meetings the next week, or the next, whether you wanted to go with, I could make them do on the 23rd, which would be a Monday for commission meeting, and then we could have approval on the 30th, or whether you want to make a special time for it.
Not giving contractors enough time?
Well, if I go out next week, they'd give them 2+ weeks to do that. There's not a lot to that. You know, 5 or 6 items for each one of them. So I wouldn't think it'd be a problem, because we're actually gonna go out and advertise. Now that we're doing the public advertising, we're gonna send it to local people and everybody we can to try to get as much interest as we can. But, you know, it's one of those things, we should have permits, I'm hoping by mid-November. They've been in for a couple of weeks now, and they said minimum 30 days.
This is on the street bank.
Yes, the one north of Florence, and then the one at 350 for Sunflower.
Bryce,
So,
doesn't the state have a requirement on how long it has to be advertised? The bids?
As far as I know, they don't, they just want and I don't know with
Greenwoods we have to sign?
state/federal, whatever else, but I was just thinking that if I could set up a time, or we could say that we want to wait till the 30th, you know, whatever the case may be, to just trying to get it started as soon as possible, so.
I think it's 3 different documents.
It's actually the same, you're signing the same document 3 times, because we get one, whoever it is, they want an original signed document, but like I said, once it's signed, then you have to go into sending it back to them.
Right, and I'm like,
Must be a debate, they shut you off already.
it hasn't started yet.
It hasn't started yet, okay.
I tap it now.
Hello.
Test. Hello?
Is it the switch on the back? Sometimes people shut your switch off. I don't know who sits there.
That should be towards you.
Wait that. Hello?
There you go.
Sorry about
Geez,
that.
somebody's playing a joke on you, they don't wanna listen to you or something.
And then they always jump his case because they can't hear it.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
Sorry.
virtual.
Greenwoods.
So, but, I mean, like I said, if you want to, I can follow up with them to find if there's a minimum time or whatever, so. Just not knowing till you don't meet again till the 9th, so. I guess, let me ask you this, you'd rather just deal with it during a regular meeting and then have a special meeting and we'll wait the 7 days to, or we could do a special meeting after we open bids to find out, or to formally approve them. I don't know what you want to do.
Well, as far as, is there any chance, when you're talking opening bids, I'm in between a few different things here. You're talking about the Nighthawk project?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well,
talking.
no, this is
Street
the,
bank.
this is
Oh,
the
this is
emergency
stream bank.
stream bank repair,
Okay.
yes.
We've already had 2 time extensions on this, and we're
Yes.
waiting on a 3rd one to
Yes.
be approved, so the sooner we do it, the better.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was a minimum time that they make him
Yeah.
advertise that, so.
Typically get multiple bids.
I would hope we would. I mean, this emergency stream bank is wintertime work, and guys are always looking for work. You know, typically they're pretty hungry at it. And the more that we promote it, not only locally, but people that we know around here that we've worked with, the more bids we'll get.
As far as,
Yeah, but they have to be approved contractors by NRCS. It used to be anyway.
Well, I don't know about that, I just know they have to, I mean, they have to follow the same rules as everybody else, but I don't know whether they have a.
Yeah.
And most of them, if they've worked with KDOT, stuff like that, they're gonna be okay as far as that goes, the formality.
if there's any local interest at all, I guess I would like to see the bid opening here and make sure that they're invited to sit here. Because if there's
Like I
any-
said, it's totally up to you guys, whatever you want to
Because
do.
if there's any questions, it could be ironed out in that moment before a decision is made and nobody feels shortchanged.
Right. Yeah.
So you wanna make him do on the 20th of November and open them on the 23rd in the commission?
Okay, which
Is
is
that-
fine with me. And if they're due on the 20th, I guess my question is, just going out on a limb, if you're okay with it, if they're due on the 20th, I could spend that Friday and that weekend going through them and then basically come back on Monday, here's the bids and here's my recommendation. Or do you want to open them publicly in the commission meeting?
That's what he's talking
Yeah, I think usually what they have done is they would open them, and then you'd have that next week to review them, and then they'd make the award on the 30th.
Okay. Which is, like I said, it's fine with me, so.
And so then, you know, any contractors that wanted to could be here on the
Sure.
30th.
And the main thing is I just have to go out and publicize this, I have to put it in the bid documents, that this is what the bids are due.
So is that what you want me to put on the calendar, Commissioner?
I'm okay with that. Sure. I mean, I think it
Okay.
needs to be done
And
right
then
in front of
if he
everybody.
finds out he's got different rules,
Yeah.
then we can change it.
Do you wanna make a certain time, I guess?
10
or-
o'clock.
Okay, 10
On
o'clock.
the 23rd.
Now, do you need
Now, you
anything else,
can't run
Bryce?
over Bryce.
Bryce, do
What?
you need anything else, just ask Tina. We don't need it.
Okay.
Just ask Tina, she'll tell you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, but that's good. I like that.
Like I
mean,
said,
she's
it's,
got it.
I could offer all sorts of different alternatives,
But
but.
no, 10 o'clock's a
that
good
works.
time to be here because that gives the contractors time to get here.
Sure. Okay. Like I said, 'cause I have to post it in the paper and I'd like to go to the.
I think the commission feels, Bryce, that we don't want to even give a chance to anybody say that there was a swayed bid.
Totally
I think it
understand.
needs to be right here.
Yep, no problem.
So,
And I don't wanna cause any more
No.
problems either, so.
no.
So I put the bid opening at 10 o'clock on the 23rd and the bid award, potential bid award on the 30th at 10.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for the next item, administrative item?
Yep.
Okay. So we do have the microloan program through Marion County. That's a USDA funded program. It was set up several years ago, and we make small loans of, well, 15,000 or less to businesses. And most of you might remember that several years ago, we had one of those that was defunct. It was a business that went away, and we were not able to collect on the loan. And we did file a mortgage on that building, and it was for the Gregor's Restaurant. And now there is a buyer for that building. The city's working with someone to purchase it, and so they're asking for a release of that mortgage. And we will not be getting any, being able to recoup any of those funds. So in order to have that closing, they need this release to be approved and assigned to me.
Doesn't appear we're ever gonna get anything.
Well, I just wonder
Yeah,
if-
you had
if
Susan
we
try
utilize
to-
the back of the building for our contributions.
I think we're entitled to know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah.
I think we need to know who the buyer is, what kind of business is gonna go there. I just think that maybe we wouldn't agree if we all know what the business is. I don't know. Unless it's a deal, we just wanna say goodbye, we'd give that money away, forget it, but we've done quite a bit here with the city of Marion. The Boron building, and again, if this one, we do this, I hope they appreciate it.
I would hope.
So I just have some feelings that, I've heard some rumors, and I don't know that whether they're true or not, if that's where this building.
I know this has been probably 2 months ago, I asked Steve Wilkerson, Skip,
Oh, okay.
cause I kind of had some of the thoughts that maybe Jonah had. Is that something that the county covered? And of course, at the time, he said that I think they already had a contract on it, or they were entering into a contract on it. So I kind of stepped back from that point. But I kind of agree with Randy, it'd be kind of nice to know.
Well, yeah, but I guess I was unaware of this basically lien.
We did this a couple
We
years
had
back.
mortgage.
It was before you were on
Yeah.
board.
This was,
But I mean, yeah, I think it's in our best interest to know who's moving in there.
yeah.
I mean, we invested in the building and stuff through the microloan program to help, I don't know, maybe I may be off.
Which building is it?
This one right here.
Boat Run, or not the Boat Run, but the
Right here on the corner.
where the cafe was.
Used to be a hardware store and.
Yeah, years ago.
Been nobody in it now for, what, 3 years? At least 3 years.
So-
Over 3 years, probably 3.5 years.
they opened up for 2 weeks and then shut down.
They've really done a lot of remodeling in there. Is that the one that they?
Yeah, there's some
They've done
remodeling, yeah.
a lot of remodeling in
Yes.
there, for months they were in there. I was in there when.
One that
before
was
they
open
opened it. It
for
looked
about a
nice.
week.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
trying to close this today, so do I need to get some?
That's the one that Gordon was involved in, right?
We're not,
Gordon
we're not
was
getting this
involved
money
in.
back. I mean, we've already
Let's see.
pursued legal action.
Because that's
so
had it
we
all
never got it.
remodeled and ready to go, and before we went to become
Yeah, we might be right. So we get, I don't, I can't tell you for sure, but you may be right there. I think I put it like that.
Okay.
I just,
So the city of Marion makes commitments?
no, I've heard that they're looking to build something for the food.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm not so
Uh,
disclosing that.
Jerry Anderson's in it, in charge of food bank.
Old food mill.
I've heard.
You want to put the food bank on Main Street?
Wow, well, that's what I just heard. I don't know if it's true.
I haven't heard any rumors.
Yeah, and that's just sort of through the grapevine. And
I
so
did
Just so you guys know, getting Tina, they're trying to close on it today, so Tina's trying to get somebody on the phone.
They called earlier in the week and said they'd like to have it by today. And I said,
Why
well,
didn't they ask us several weeks ago?
Oh, they know this is going?
I said, coincidentally, we had this meeting and you had this that could be an administrative, so I went in and prepared it. But the question's a valid one, so hopefully we can get someone on the phone and they
So what are we getting from the building?
Nothing. They want us to release it.
Yeah,
Oh, well, wouldn't that be nice?
yeah, we're just
But
out our
the only
micro loan.
I mean, I guess I got some honest reservations about it because there was some, it wasn't a talk amongst, the commission, but I've heard that the county could utilize that building for some, it's nearby, and we kinda, we didn't get undercut, we just didn't move quick
I
enough.
think it would've been nice if the city would've approached us and said there's a possibility of doing that. Would you guys release?
Isn't that part of communication? Lack thereof?
Okay,
Give us a
Randy
call.
Collett is going to come home,
Okay.
and he can answer your questions.
So can we
Put it to
move
the end, I
this
guess.
towards the end?
Well, he's coming now.
Oh, he's
He's
coming.
walking from the city building over right now, so he'll be here in like 3 or 4 minutes.
While he's doing that, we can make productive use of the time in terms of administrative function. We got a message this morning, and I know, Tony, you got it as well. We previously discussed the boat dock and our status there. The performance bond that I'm insisting upon basically on this county's behalf is $7,500.
Okay.
And he's asking, as we anticipated he might, if the county will pay. I don't have to take action on it today because we're really, kind of limited here, especially, but I at least wanted you to be aware of that so you can ponder it a bit.
Did he provide the actual,
No, I'm gonna ask you that.
Because-
Also, too.
or is he throwing a 30% margin on top of this? So.
Yeah.
I want to see the bond in
Yeah.
terms of the proposed.
Brad needs to see it.
In terms of how, if that's an airtight bond, and I suspect it is given that price, but we want to see it first. So I just wanted to at least let you know there's the dollar figure and how you can kind of contemplate what you want to do with that. Secondly, just as a final reminder, Monday would be the deadline if we ever chose to appeal that decision on the one small property that Susan had sought reimbursement on the taxes on. And we had discussed not doing that. I just wanted to be sure everybody was minded that that's where we were at.
And this actually, it is not called as a special meeting because we have other administrative
Oh,
and
okay.
business on
I
it
thought
and
we'd done
public
this as a special,
comment.
I'm sorry.
Since we're doing things other than payday, we can take other actions.
Yeah, if there's other matters then with regard to the boat dock you want to take up or anything you feel like you want to discuss. we can do that.
I would just, like just a second, John.
Yeah.
I'm not the best on performance bonds and stuff of what, so if the council needs, I know you deal with them all the time. Kent, Diane, one of you guys if you want 2 or more commissioners to be dealing with Brad so he can get the okay on this deal, I'm just saying that I'm not the best on performance bonds because I don't understand all,
The only part of it, and I appreciate that, I think the only part of it though that I would want formal action on is if we're gonna spend $7,500 and do it.
We want to know that we're covered.
Yeah, and also that it be done in the normal process.
Well,
Motion second.
Okay.
And vote.
I don't have a problem making a motion to not exceed $7,500.
Okay, you could do that. And then, subject to staff review and confirmation, I could send out a little memo as to what he provides in advance. It's what I see in it, and it says what it will do for us, so that if that then creates any further pause, individually, you could communicate back to me.
I'd be comfortable with that.
I'd make a motion not to exceed $7,500 as far as it applies to Ben's boat dock on the payment performance bond pending staff review.
Okay, and I would second that.
Second by Randy. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I guess, Brad, because from what, just talking with Isaac, I guess you guys have set up a schedule of stuff that he needs to do. You hate to interfere with that too, if that's been set up.
That's part and parcel of it. And put all that, yeah. And his deadlines, I had urged him to put enough flexibility in that, so we wouldn't hear back that, oh, I shorted that too much.
Yeah.
So I think he's still got ample time.
Okay.
But from our perspective, seeing something get done is a big deal.
Based on past performance, yes.
Okay, one other thing that we've seen in that deal, we've seen it go up for sale online and go to him. I think, I don't know, I'm gonna ask you, Bryce, could you take the tractor and pull that dude out, destroy it right there, or?
Well, we talked about that way back when we
Yes,
did this.
yes, gotcha.
The thing is that we're afraid of is, as long as that thing's been out there, what kind of shape it is structurally. We can hook onto it with equipment. I have no doubt that we could pull it out to wherever we need to, but then once we get it pulled out,
Can you sit over there? At the microphone.
then what happens?
Well,
Because if we've told him that that's gonna be his responsibility to get rid of that, so if we pull it out, then he says, well, you've already got this started.
I know it's in the contract, but what I'm getting at, we have a whole new deal here to work on.
Sure.
And does the commission want to mess with it? Do you want to let him mess with it still? And
He did stress that he needs it in place in order to do some of the construction. He's working off of that, using it as a working platform initially, so we're not in a position to get rid of it at this point anyway.
Okay.
Of course, you know, for road and bridge, it's a slow season during the winter. They're looking for work to do anyway, so it might be something that
Yeah.
the engineer.
He's got a mask on, and I could even see the scowl behind it.
And then the other thing is if you pull that out there and it sits there, now we have a liability that people can be on there or whatever else can.
But my word said pull it and destroy it all the way.
Well, then
How
we
about
have to
if it
turn
just
around.
sinks, can we put up a marker?
You know,
A
so
high-powered
yeah,
rifle might take care of
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's styrofoam, it ain't
Oh,
going,
that's
it ain't going down.
so that's the biggest thing we face is we don't wanna, you know, first of all, I'm guessing, in order to try to get this worked out, so we'd have to figure out structurally where to hook onto. And we never know whether it's gonna stay together. The last thing we wanna do is break it up right in the middle of the water and then have a
Yeah.
mess.
And it was discussed that moving forward, we need the platform to work off of.
Okay,
So
well, I can understand that, but I'm just looking at trying to
I'm gonna jump
narrow this
back
project down as much as we can.
to Randy, since he did take a special run over it.
It's all right. Happy to do it.
I let the sweat come off. You're good now, so.
It's more about getting heart rate right now.
All right, so we had a few questions as far as the building across the street here to the north. And the forgiveness of the loan that we're talking about. Particularly interested in what business is going to move there and who we're giving this finance up to, basically.
Okay. The new owners of the building are not Marion County residents at the present time, but I anticipate them to be locating here because they've indicated an interest in living in the second floor space after some obviously work to be done. But their intentions are to live upstairs, at least have been communicated to me. What else do you want to know?
But,
Same type of business?
Their interest is in barbecue restaurant on the first floor.
Okay, is wiping off their part of the loan?
Yes, Skid wrote theirs off probably 2.5 years ago, about the same time as the previous owners abandoned the property, and it kind of became Skid's to manage, if you will. They wrote that off in that fiscal year that occurred. And Network Kansas and Marion community also had money there, and Network Kansas wrote that off as well, probably 12 to 18 months ago. That was $45,000. And the microloan was 15, and the bigger Skid loan, I believe, was, I want to say 60.
I think you're right.
Because it included, my recollection is it included the building and the fixtures.
Okay, as you're going forward right now, then who's actually in charge of the sale? You?
I'm sort of managing it, but Skid is obviously involved in the closing. I say managing it, I'm the local contact,
Right,
let's put it that way.
Right, that's all right. I guess we've just never known this, and here we're sitting and looking at whether we want to expand things in the county, building-wise and stuff like that. I've been under the assumption that Skid's trying to, well, it's for sale, and so I was under the assumption they was trying to get some of their money back when I seen it for sale.
Well, yeah, and they are. I mean, there is a closing, well, that's why we're here, scheduled for noon today. The purchase price, I believe, is $40,000.
First mortgage holder's gonna get it.
Well, sometimes I've been involved in other things where everybody gets an equal percentage haircut, so that you would still get something, they would still get something. So whatever their loss is percentage would be our loss percentage. And it just, sometimes it just seems like it gets overlooked like it's the county.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't address that at all, Jonah. I don't. My understanding was, the first people in line are the ones that are,
Unless there's something in hard writing, it's first mortgage holder is always gonna get, taxes and then the first mortgage holder.
And I think he should, and you can confirm this, Tina, but I believe Skid paid off all the delinquent taxes on that building within the last month, totaling $16,000 to $18,000, I think, or something like that. So they paid that off.
this time it's just a missed opportunity, I guess, but and I was unaware of it,
Yeah,
It was
and I
happened
didn't.
prior to me, so if the county's gonna give up something, it'd be nice to know in the future that, hey, can you guys utilize this? And then that way we're not throwing taxpayer dollars away.
And I didn't mean to surprise us on the agenda, but I just found out about it a couple days ago
Yeah.
myself, so.
But, just in going forward, I'd like to just kind of keep it a practice that if we stand to lose something, if we could benefit in another way.
I would agree with that, Joe, and I think my perspective was we were kind of moving along toward closing and everything seemed to be going well, and all of a sudden lien pops up in the title search, and it's like, oh crap, so apologize for that, but that was kind of one of those.
I didn't know either.
And
Well, I knew about it and I talked to Steve about, maybe it's only been 30 days, but I didn't pursue it any farther because it sounded like they already had a contract on it then.
They
So the contract's
did.
been on it for a while.
Contract has been signed since towards the end of August, I believe.
Yeah.
Just use this.
I think my questions have been answered. We've heard the taxes have been paid, if it's been that much, and I don't know what the county share is, there's some coming back to us.
Yeah, it's not a total loss.
No, it's not a total loss.
I can tell you, it was, the loan that the county made back at the time was $15,000, and the delinquent amount was, I believe, over $12,000.
Yeah, but that's still school, city, and everything. tax gets divided out, so we get our share out of that. But, you know, I guess my questions have been answered. There was another rumor that I'd heard that I didn't feel that I would have voted for this deal if the rumor was true. And and the rumor I heard was not what you just said.
Okay.
And so I'm happy, I guess, not tickled to death, because the process, Joni, you said you've never heard. If you get an economical development director like Randy, like one that we had too, it was always private. That's how this loan's got so much. What's the total that you had up a while ago? 100-some thousand?
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be like 120,000.
Yeah. But we can never even find out through our own economic development director what was happening.
Not even through an executive.
Not through executive session, not through anything. It was a secret. And
Confidential.
yeah, confidential.
Is the word she always used.
Yes, and so it hurts that when you find out the total dollars that's there, 3 different ways, when they ask for ours, we don't know the whole picture. And this, I guess, would be good for you too, to help for you, your commissioners, is we want to be a part of it up to a certain point, and
Well, it's
not
just
in-
like any other bank. I mean, if you're gonna loan some money against it, you're gonna wanna know some specifics.
Yeah. And so this deal was already done before you ever come back, Randy, with this cafe and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, wow, to the extent of $100-some thousand.
117 to be exact, yes.
We want to help people, but we funded the thing, I think, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
We were a participant.
participant in the funding, yes. There you go. Good wording. So that's why I asked this question, because I want to know what was happening to it.
Well, that being said, I'll go ahead and make a motion to release.
You're gonna have to hold
Oh, Tim's not.
Here we are.
We need somebody to document this.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I had to make a change.
I'll
to it.
reiterate.
Okay.
All right.
Can I get one of those? Just right there. Okay.
That's about to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to release mortgage on lots 17 and 19, original town, Marion County, Kansas, commonly known as 301 East Main.
A second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 4-0.
Thank you for the opportunity to
thanks for
share
coming
some
over.
information kind of late in the game, but
I'm sorry to make you run right over here.
that's okay. The hope is that we get this thing out of the ditch. That's the hope.
Yeah.
What happens?
The hope is that
Hopefully we get something
we got
viable.
20 years, 40 years of good business over there.
Yes.
That's the hope.
That's the hope.
So,
You don't have no agreement in there that protects you if it don't go to a cafe or don't happen?
I don't know what the sales agreement looks like between this party and the SCED, no. I honestly, Randy, I seriously doubt it. I mean, it's like, well, it's kind of that American dream thing. Whatever you intend for the building, we can't restrict, beyond, but I have no idea what that agreement
we've
is.
got a technical clarification here.
I'll also make a motion to authorize the chairman of the commission to sign the release on that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Thanks,
you all.
Randy.
You bet. I'm glad I was available.
Yeah.
Helps out. Good to see you, Brad.
Take care.
If he was feeling lazy, you could have just dialed in.
Oh, no, I asked him if he
Well,
wanted to
and-
just be on the phone.
For some reason, my microphone is not working, my speakers are not working, I don't know what happened,
Wow, I
so.
meant him.
Oh.
He ran all the way a few blocks.
You wouldn't want me to run it.
Wouldn't want
What are
to
you
do it
frowning
either.
at me for?
Well, if it's speakers and microphone, that's usually operator error.
Wow.
Yeah.
And actually it might be because I think I caught one of the cords when I got up, yeah, so anyway.
You're supposed to be able to fix everything.
Yeah, it's,
Not
you're an
good.
You're an
engineer.
engineer.
Christina, have some more stuff?
No.
Technology wise.
Let's get the end result.
Yeah.
Say what?
Let's get this one done.
Okay. All right. So we want to go to. So who do we want to pull in? I'm gonna let you, because you got this one.
Okay, I move we recession the executive session in order to discuss, let's see.
It'd be for contract negotiation is the topic.
Attorney-client privilege.
Okay,
Contract
that's what I was looking for,
negotiations, yeah.
attorney-client privilege for contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B with the commission, Brad, and I believe it's Jerry and Gene Unruh.
Bryce.
And Bryce,
Yeah.
yes. Until, let's just say, let's go to 10:15,
I think they're ready for it.
then we'll resume back in open session.
Thank you. And, that's why I put it off on you.
I wasn't for sure who was out here, but I thought I knew it was gonna be.
Second by Randy. All those.
Morning.
Morning. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good morning. Why don't you put a motion?
Morning.
Hi.
I'll need to amend my motion to.
Can we
Just do
that
another
we
motion.
invited?
Yeah.
No, that's right, never mind.
I can
Just
second.
invite her in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So go ahead.
Invite
That's great.
Jerry's
Thank you.
wife.
Diane? Aye, that's.
Oh, you go in the executive.
That's not
Yeah.
appropriate.
Gotta take care of this meeting.
You ready?
Need her full name.
Just a moment. Yes, I do need her name to be added.
Added at 9:50.
I'm sorry,
Full
what's your
name?
name?
Pamela Unruh.
Thank you.
Well, you know how to spell it.
Well,
Okay.
Flat, and it goes up to the field.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to take out a bunch there.
And we're on now?
Yeah, we're on.
You need to get up the hill. I mean, there's no tractor
Okay.
Honey, I think
that's
they,
gonna get up that hill.
Yeah, I know.
Loaded.
Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna make an extension of our time here.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
You can go ahead, the video camera's on, this one won't come on, but it's.
okay, out of executive session, no action taken at this time. Kent needs to make another
Okay,
motion.
I'll move that we can recess in executive session
Going in
in
there.
order to discuss item number 2, consultation attorney-client privilege for contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B with the commission, the Unruhs, and Brad and Bryce, for how long do we need? 15 minutes again?
I would think 15 should do it, shouldn't it?
Okay, so for 15 minutes until 10:35, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'll return into open session.
Section. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
I'm still trying to get the meeting back up.
I'll pass that one down.
Okay, from Chisholm Trail.
Mine's just a printout anyway.
It's a little,
I don't mess with that stuff.
quarter and a half to Arlene. Yeah, and Arlene has got a Chisholm Trail sign
Oh, wait.
posted that somebody put up.
I think I passed one too many down.
Chisholm Trail.
Yes. We'll do the same thing like we did before by extending it, so.
West of Blacktop. You run out of Blacktop.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken.
One more.
Kent?
I move we recession the executive session in order to discuss number 2, consultation on attorney-client privilege in order to discuss contract negotiation pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B with the commission, Brad, and the Unruhs until
You'll see on the mailbox.
Bryce.
Rice, 10:55.
Quarter and a half.
Second by Randy. All those in favor?
Almost a half.
Aye.
Jerry? Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah, come out.
And I too want to see.
If we went from here across here, stuff like that, but. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the dam. But anyway.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. There's public comments. I don't see any public here. Didn't see any public except for the very beginning of the meeting. Didn't see any public on the virtual meeting. So I'll close the public comments and go to commission comments. Is there any commission comments?
Well, yes, good luck to everybody that's running. Just running for office, I mean, all the way from us, clear down through the other offices and stuff like that. Get out and vote if you haven't voted yet.
You had such a positive note, I hate to ruin it.
No.
But a while back, we were told on a tax sale that things would be coming up, and I haven't seen anything, so I just want to, I've called a few times on the second batch that should have been a few weeks behind the first batch, but then COVID and a few other things. And then just recently was told that we should be getting notifications soon, and soon went by.
It was published this week. Is that the first time or second time?
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to all that. I'm sorry.
It was published.
It was?
Yeah, the properties were in the Marion record
Really?
yesterday.
But that's gonna be for sale?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's-
Well, I mean, did it say a date and stuff on there?
No, I don't know. I didn't see
I thought
it.
that she reported that there was a date set in
Yeah,
December.
I did too.
She has-
Tentatively, this November something.
It was,
I don't remember. But
I thought it
remember.
was December.
December?
I thought it was
But I
first
don't
part of
know.
December.
Okay. Tentatively December 3rd.
When I talked to her the one day, I thought she mentioned that, and asked if there was another batch.
Yeah. And I know when we learned about the first batch, it was that we learned about the second batch, but then they would apply for the legal process. And then the next one was relatively 14 days later or something, or 7 days later. It wasn't very far apart, so it seemed kind of funny that one batch would come through so quickly, and then the next batch would take so much longer to get around to. But
If the whole state has this kind of problem selling delinquent property, Kansas needs to change their laws, because there's something wrong with this.
Well, I would go along with that anyway.
This
Too many attorneys involved.
look at that glare.
That's off the record.
Look at that glare.
So I
There's
have-
so many comments and so little
Diane
time
has a
about that
comment.
one.
Well, just a moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a little, I think it was recording, but it didn't show it was recording, so now it's recording.
So I just want to mention that a week or two ago, I brought up about the juvenile detention, the judicial, and getting the smart money to recover some of their COVID expenses. And of course, there was a little bit of a question about where the money comes from. Does it come from the counties, or does it come from the judicial, et cetera? Well, I was in contact with Scott Lloyd, and he did do the research, and he went right to the top, and he sent me the email back, and it falls back on the counties. Each county needs to pay their share because it is a county-funded facility. So I just wanted to let you know, I did forward that information to the judicial, and so, I'm sorry, to the juvenile detention. Okay, so I'm sure that they will probably, I'm assuming, I haven't talked to them yet, but I did send them the email, they probably proportionately sent what they would propose as their losses. And now I don't know what the process for us to get it here to the right place, if there's still time for us to get that included in our Sparks money. So it's just something that we need to be aware of, or think about, or find out what the process is. But Scott did tell me that it comes to the county. So.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, and one final thing, I would like to suggest to the commission that we do put a note on the agenda for the public to silence their phones. I mean, that's something we do.
Yeah.
It seems to me every time I go to a meeting, I don't care where the meeting is, that's just common courtesy procedure to silence your phone. And personally, I find a lot of disruptions with phones going off. And then the process to get that phone shut off too goes on and on. So I think it would be wise to put a little notation, please silence phones. I think it's just something that needs to be be done in the meeting. That's just my comment.
Is it posted on the door anywhere?
I don't know. We need to
No.
make
It's
it.
kind of like a theater, you know, just.
I even forget to do it in the theater though. I see that note and just walk on by.
And
Yeah, a lot of people, you just don't think about it, I know that.
She mentioned something, so this money that we're talking about here. One business, it was brought to me to ask this question, was a business open during all this COVID? Was they given money from the county? So I would like to get with Tina and check with that, and how does the commission feel if they wasn't an open business, well, through the whole thing?
If they were closed for the pandemic,
No.
or
they
just
was-
closed, period?
They was closed, period, and opened up a new business during this.
But they got the PPP money.
Well, I don't know.
That I do know.
Okay.
Are you talking about the same business I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, don't know. Don't wanna call anybody out.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but if it's the one I'm thinking about, that thought they were gonna get money from the city and then turned out they didn't, they did receive PPP money. So, and that was one.
What I'm getting at though, Diane, is if they was not open when the COVID started, and now if they opened up, should it be
Oh, when the
open
COVID started.
when the COVID
They
started?
were not open.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm asking. Well, if
Okay.
they was not open when the COVID started, they opened up during it and then received money.
Legal counsel, please.
Yeah.
As the same business, or
No, a
different?
new business. It was closed for period, and then opened up as a new business. And I know their name's been on there, but I couldn't remember when they asked me that, whether we give them money in the county. But if it's in the city limits of the town, did they go back to the city and they got the money?
If it's PPP, we have nothing to do with it.
Thank you,
It's, I think I know which one you're talking about. The business actually did open prior, but they couldn't stay open and they closed. If it's a city of Peabody, there's a business within the city of Peabody.
No.
Oh,
Nope.
okay, well, we can't,
Yeah, we
just
can't.
ask me later.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I'll do my best to answer.
But I'm just asking the commission how, on that ruling, and to keep that in mind, if I find this to be true, then I got some problem whether we give them money or not, so I don't know, we'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
is the
all.
business still open today?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, then we are talking about two different ones.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Gosh, there's so many of them.
Well, we do have a lot. We do have a lot, and I wish more people would have signed up for the
And I'm
CBD.
sure there's a lot of games that get played with these grants. Oh, I mean, I hate to say it, but
Yes.
Well,
the world we live in.
it's a competitive corporate world, so I mean, if you don't go out for every dollar you can get, you just fall behind your competition, because your competition got it.
Well, and I'm seeing that everybody wants some of this piece of the pie, you know, some of this money.
Well, and I don't know necessarily that any of the ruling on that, are you talking about the spark money?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure if the ruling quantified when the business was open, right? So even if you opened a business
Well-
during the pandemic, whatever the business was, and then it got more severe than maybe you expected or whatever, the consequences were greater with all the lockdowns and so, I don't know. I don't know that we ever had to consider when the business was open.
Yeah, and that's.
It's got more to do with lost revenue, retained employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
They fall within the
qualifications
rules.
for
Follow the
SPARK were
rules,
different.
Yeah, they're following guidelines.
Yeah.
If they meet the guideline,
Yeah, and so I wanna hassle that one down, find out for sure, so I know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Any other comments? I actually enjoy these commission comments. I feel like it gives us a chance to all kind of get on a page for once.
Yeah.
So, all right, with that said, I will make a motion to adjourn. Second by Ken. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. For some reason, I thought a couple better times, just take that out, I'll take it. I don't know why, that's stuck in my head, some of it's not being too much. Everything I want to say is, here is,